Let's talk about everyone's favourite mushrooms in 40k, the Orks. The most numerous of all of the intelligent races in the galaxy, with the possible exception of the Tyranids, greenskins are also the most warlike and dangerous. Thankfully for the rest of the Milky Way, that warlike nature causes constant infighting, though should they ever truly unify, there is nothing in the setting that could possibly stand against them. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. First we should discuss what exactly an Ork is in the context of 40k. Biologically engineered by the long extinct Old Ones to fight the Necrons during the War in Heaven, Orks were designed to be muscular, aggressive, and not the brightest. Their technology is maintained by so-called odd boys, Orks born with specific genetic memories programmed into their DNA that give them a fully instinctive understanding of the mechanical principles used to create Ork technology. Denied individual psychic power by the Old Ones, greenskins instead possess a sort of collaborative psychic power, meaning that if enough Orks gather together and believe in something, it will become true. Now this power is somewhat exaggerated by the 40k community, and isn't nearly as powerful as the memes make out, but it is still a core part of the Orks and their identity in the setting. The more Orks that gather together, the more Orks are drawn to that group, while the power and intelligence of the greenskins will also grow with their numbers. On the admittedly somewhat rare occasion that an Ork leader will emerge who is strong enough to unite the warring tribes under his banner, the resulting war can conquer and enslave entire star systems. Speaking of clans, I suppose we should move on to how Orks are organised, as far as you can use the word organised to describe constantly warring mushrooms. Greenskin society is so robust that it can exist almost anywhere, and their settlements can be found scattered to the furthest corners of the galaxy. These settlements are hierarchical in the extreme. The biggest and most savage Orks, known as war bosses, order around their smaller brethren, who in turn bully the tiny Gretchen into doing their bidding. Regardless of where in the galaxy they come from, most Orks belong to one of the several clans, permanent social groupings that represent the various aspects of Orkish character. Each clan has its own colours, markings, defining characteristics, and ways of waging war. It's possible that clan affiliation is a genetic phenomenon, akin to the Odd Boys' mechanical understanding, as members of the same clan often share physical characteristics that set them apart, for instance the Bad Moon's faster growing teeth. While there are possibly innumerable different Ork clans, there are 6 that are truly widespread and found in almost every Ork tribe and warband in the galaxy, and it is those that we are going to concern ourselves with today. The Bloodaxes, Gooffs, Evil Suns, Snakebites, Death Skulls, and Bad Moons. Starting off with my favourite of the clans, we have the Bloodaxes. Despite their violent name, the Bloodaxes are the least Orky of all of the clans. The first Orks to encounter the Imperium of Man, they have picked up many human tactics, such as using camouflage and retreating when they are losing in order to return with larger numbers. They trade with humans for war gear and vehicles, and have even worked as mercenaries for the Imperium at times. This leads to them being branded as cowardly and un-Orky by the other clans, who often accuse them of being scared of a proper scrap, although Bloodaxes are still a force in close combat. Most Bloodaxes are commandos, basically Ork spec op troops who wear fatigues painted in drab colours and camouflage patterns, betraying the influence of Imperial military style. Despite their reputation with the other clans, the use of at least 2 brain cells in most battles make them among the more dangerous of the Ork clans for the Imperium. The clan most likely to challenge the title of most dangerous is the Gooffs. The biggest, toughest, and most brutally Orky Orks to be found in the galaxy, they are the most inspired by the thrill of battle, taking any excuse to start a brawl, whether with an enemy or amongst themselves. As a result, they are specialists in hand-to-hand combat, and are notorious for the sheer number of infantry they muster in times of war, boasting the greatest numbers of nobs and stormboys of all of the clans. While all Orks love war and combat, the Gooffs truly live only for war, and as a result of this, and their on average larger size, they command respect from most of the other clans. They are also quite fashionable, and are fond of black and white checks on their armour, and large horns on their helmets. The most influential Ork in the galaxy in the current day of the setting, Ghazghkull Mag Uruk Thraka, is a member of the Gooff clan. Just as the Gooffs love violence and aggression, so the Evil Suns clan loves speed and making as much noise as possible when in combat. They prize fast vehicles like war bikes, war buggies and trucks on which their boys can ride to battle, all of course painted red so as to make them go faster. To keep all those vehicles up and running, the Evil Suns possess a larger population than normal of mech boys, and by far the largest number of orc speed freaks come from this clan. Addicted to the thrill of riding into battle, the speed freaks' need for speed can drive them into the air in search of even greater thrills, to become pilots of the orc fighter jets. Apart from their speed, the Evil Sons are distinguished by their use of bright colours, such as red and yellow, and flame patterns, along with many sport goggles and driving gloves. The most traditional of the orcs are the snakebites, who shun force fields and armoured vehicles in favour of protecting themselves with war paint and riding into battle on huge boars and squigs. They are the closest thing to the fantasy and AOS orcs that 40k has, and cover themselves in swirling tattoos like coiled snakes, and cultivate hair squigs so they can decorate themselves with extravagant crests and top knots. They also often wear wolfskin headgear and wolf pelts, adding to their wild and savage appearance. The snakebites got their name from their distinctive snake belts, fastened with metal snake-shaped buckles, as well as from their practice of toughening the clan's young by allowing venomous snakes to bite them. The Bad Moons are the richest orcs around, as the main form of currency in orcish society is their teeth, and the Bad Moons' teeth grow faster than anyone else's. This often ends up with them getting their head smashed in by the nearest bigger orc in order to get to their teeth, although they would probably respect any orc large enough to do that. They function as a merchant caste and have a reputation for showing off, continuously buying, selling, swapping and conning in order to get teeth to trade for the biggest guns, flashiest war gear and the best food. The highest ranking among them wear garishly decorated war banners and flaunt their wealth by wearing necklaces of teeth. They love gold more than any other metal, and commonly sport gold teeth and favour strikingly patterned gold and yellow and black for their armour and clothing, accessorised with more jewellery and piercings than any other clan. In a similar vein to the Bad Moons are the Death Skulls, looters and plunderers who grab whatever they can from corpses on the battlefield, or from any orcs who happen to be looking in the other direction. They collect anything that might be useful, as well as grisly trophies and various lucky trinkets and charms, being superstitious even for orcs, and often paint themselves and their war gear blue, a lucky colour, to protect themselves from harm. It is not uncommon to find looted Imperial vehicles amongst Death Skull armies, and many orc clans who deal with them will often find a few of their own vehicles missing before reappearing painted blue amid the ranks of the Death Skull's own vehicles. Those orcs that do not belong to their own clan often become freebooters, notorious pirates and thieves who prey upon anyone foolish enough to cross them, smashing their way onto enemy ships to kill anything that moves and steal anything that doesn't. They are often employed by war bosses who wish to invade a planet, to see off the enemy ships and clear the way for a ground invasion, although they are known to get distracted by the prospect of more plunder elsewhere. Freebooters bedeck themselves in finery, stuffing themselves into gold button coats, and sporting piercings, furs, brightly coloured pirate garb and extravagant hats. So that was the basics of the orcs and their most widespread clans. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much, it really does mean a lot. Like, subscribe, all the rest, and I'll see you in the next video.